which was nominated by @ElectricViking on Twitter. This is a pretty recent one. So I guess we got to talk about the arcade version, although there's kind of been many different versions of Space Harrier. But they're all kind of the same, but the arcade one is the most pure. This is by the great Yu Suzuki, I believe, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Oh, it looks much the same as like Outrun and Super Hang-On and so on. Sega's fair line of 3D experiences that, they've got their style, I tell you
right.
what.
Stuff's coming at you.
I'm just
Thunderblade, yeah.
I'm just
Thunderblade's probably the most creative one, I think, of the way they did it. Like it.
I think Thunderblade's very underrated. That one seems to get a bad rap for some reason.
It's just cool the way they did the like top-down parts of it, where it's like you've got these like kind of looking skyscraper things that are obviously not, but like you can see how they did the effect, but that doesn't make it any less cool, I think.
I'd say all those games kind of work with their technology pretty well and hid their limitations.
So, I mean, Space Harrier was a very influential game, though. It's kind of like I don't know whether it kind of what would we even call this genre? Like a person.
I just say 3D shoot 'em up. Honestly, it's at its core not too different from games like Xevious and Gradius. It's just that the action's coming to you from a different perspective.
Yeah, but I mean, there's like you can run into stuff, and that kind of changes things. And
well, you can do the same in Gradius, like you accidentally hit.
Well, no, I mean, like
don't
you just kind of bounce off of stuff in Space Harrier if you? Or
no,
I'm thinking of World Runner.
Yeah, in World Runner, you don't die if you hit a pillar. You do die in Space Harrier if you run at something. Okay, there's some objects that you just trip over, but for large stuff like pillars, you will die if you fly into it.
So we got to give this game props for just being like totally crazy looking. Like the title screen alone is unreal. It's got the Cyclops Mammoth.
I love it's got rolling backgrounds too.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, you got to wonder, like, it's got the completely crazy Japanese title that doesn't make any sense. Space Harrier. It tells you nothing about the game you're about to play.
Yeah, Harrier.
It's not taking place in space.
A Harrier seems like something you'd find from your sister Sega game Afterburner.
Right.
But no, the Harrier in question is just this guy who looks like the greatest American hero, and he's able to fly for absolutely no explained reason. He's got a giant gun that has infinite laser shot ammo, and
he fights a lot of giant centipedes.
Oh yeah, centipede dragon thingies and like dodecahedrons and some sort of like crystalline super future like the apple or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't even explain this game's. Yes, that's the one. I can't even explain this game's art direction. It still looks so unique even today. I can't think of any other game that looks like this.
You know what used to drive me nuts about this game is I always got it confused with Fantasy Zone, because this game looks like a Fantasy Zone. But it's not Fantasy Zone. It has nothing to do with Fantasy Zone except they're both Sega and like really colorful.
Wait. No, at the very beginning, though, it doesn't have like a piece of text that says...
Welcome to the Fantasy Zone, yeah.
That's exactly it. And there was, at some point, going to be a Space Harrier Fantasy Zone crossover for the PC Engine CD. Sadly, that was canceled or unreleased or whatever. I think there's a prototype ROM of it.
I'd love to see like Johnny Blue Jeans like fall in love with the Opa Opa. Like just some kind of like star-crossed lovers from two different dimensions. And I want to be with you, but... You're kind of like a spaceship with legs, and it can never work between us. We're from two different worlds.
I'm kind of surprised that Space Harrier went in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Trend 4, but I guess I don't know what he'd be riding in, because he'd have the vehicle.
He would just be running for all three, land, sea, and air.
Does the gun make him fly?
Well, maybe. The gun just looks like a glowing red hexagon thingy from the rear view that you see him in.
I mean,
it's possible.
okay, so we can talk about, like, I feel like this is one of those games that it's amazing how much it kind of put out there right from the beginning, because you see that games like World Runner and Panorama Cotton, right? And
that was a good one.
And there are several games that kind of...
Star Fox?
Yeah, really. Star Fox isn't all that different. I mean, it adds a lot of stuff to the mix, but it is basically...
There's this one by Namco, pretty similar, called Burning Force. I thought that was a very good game, but clearly it was also following the Space Harrier mold, and it wouldn't be this subset of 3D shooting type games without Yu Suzuki to invent it, and to have another generation experience it by making it one of the arcade games in Shenmue fully playable.
Right. So... I don't know. It's hard to say too much about this because it's one of those games that I think inspires a lot of affection, and rightly so. But it's also kind of, there's not that much to it. I mean, it's a straight up arcade game. Like, it is a pure arcade game, and it is. I think you almost have to judge it on those terms. Like, I think it's a better game than Afterburner 2.
I think so as well.
Although that's not on the list, but.
Afterburner I cannot control at all. It feels more like a ride than a game. Space Harrier, while very difficult, I feel a little bit more control in my agency, and if I just keep moving and I don't hit a pillar offhand, it feels manageable. I mean, there's like 18 levels all in all, but they're all incredibly short, and it's definitely feasible to see the end. Also... For as many ports as there's been of Space Harrier, I'd say its most authentic one would be the most recently released 3DS release of Sega's line of arcade and Genesis classics, which are all great. You should definitely get them all if you're a Sega fan.
For a game like this, that's the way to play it. Because it really feels like it should be in 3D. It should be coming right at you, right in your face. So, especially with like the giant dragons and stuff that go like back and forth and...
Yeah, every body segment of it is its own sprite. It's crazy.
Right. It's the super scalar trick that they did on so many games, but of that time. But the game. I feel like it's hard for me to say anything bad about Space Harrier, but it's also hard for me to like pretend like it's I feel like it's in the Galaga range, maybe, but which is...
I was thinking nestling it between Wario Land 4 and Galaga. I might place it even higher. I don't know. That's tricky to decide.
I would put it above... Marvel Land. That's just me.
Maybe it's more of a Snatcher U and Squadron range, really.
I guess I would allow that. It is a pretty well-loved game.
I don't know. I feel like I want to put it below Alien Soldier at least.
Alright. I guess I have a little bit of attachment to this.
Let's put it above Wonder Boy for originality.
Yeah. So better or worse than Super Mario Land then?
Ooh, Jesus.
This is a tough one because as good as Super Mario Land is, it's its defining feature is that it shrunk down Super Mario Brothers to something that made sense and worked on a Game Boy.
I have a comparison.
Than that, it's not, it has some inventive things added to it, but other than that, it's not.
Here, let me try this. Super Mario Land was, while loosely, it did have a basis on Super Mario Brothers. Space Harrier wasn't really based on much before it came along, and it inspired a lot. So I want to place it even maybe above Super Mario Land for that dose of trend setting.
Alien Soldier, then.
I'm going to place it below Alien Soldier. I have to admit that Alien Soldier is a really good game. And, a very, very crazy and creative one for its time as well. As much as I do like Space Harrier, I think this is where the line should be drawn, because there is some definite substance to Alien Soldier, and it's the bosses it throws at you are very creative. The bosses in Space Harrier are just like 15-20 seconds affairs that don't play any differently from how you otherwise play the game.
They just get a little bit harder
and not get hit. Yeah,
I mean, I'd say the same reason. Like, there's even more depth to a game like Galaga, which came out much earlier. Like, there's more to say about, because Galaga, it's a straight up score attack, right? So,
yes.
And then there's like the double ship thing, and there's kind of like it feels like there's more you can get out of a game like that. and Kicks is also like it's a challenging, first of its kind type thing. Okay, so let's put it below Alien Soldier, above Super Mario Land.